Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel, Massive Iron Live, Massive Iron podcast. I got lights glowing everywhere behind me. I don't know what's going on. I'm actually in my gym, different location. I'll explain that in a little bit. This is a Massive Iron podcast, the biggest podcast on planet Earth, the strongest podcast on planet Earth, and the fittest podcast on planet Earth. And that's my story. And if you don't believe it, I'm allowed to make up whatever I want, right? So I appreciate you guys joining me. Same old Massive Iron Live. These will be ported to a podcast. And if you haven't checked out the podcast, check out superlivingtoday.com, superlivingtoday.com. There's a podcast tab. You can listen to all this good stuff. All right. So before we dive in, guys, tell me where you're tuning in from. I'm going to do an introductory little spiel on the average bench presser, a video by Greg Doucette, and that references Greg Doucette and Jeff Nippard. So hold on for that. That's coming in just a second. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Look, every week I get guys saying YouTube is censoring my questions or you're deleting my questions. I want you guys to know that is not me. I do not delete or censor questions. So if it's not coming through, try shortening your question, rewording your question, or sending it through on Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. So this live video is going to be out on a podcast later today or tomorrow. Check in on my podcast on Monday. You guys do not want to miss this. I have a very special guest, Christy Agan, who is one of 6 RKC kettlebell masters. Did I get that right? One of 6 female kettlebell RKC registered kettlebell masters in the world. So that's going to be pretty cool. All right. So guys, before I dive into your questions and post them up now, if you're new, post up your questions. Don't be shy. No question is a dumb question, only stupid questions. Now I'm going to share this, okay? I'm going to share the screen here. One of my clients, Ben, shared this video. It is from Greg Doucette, and basically it's talking about Jeff Nippard and his average bench press standard. So I was asked to weigh in on this. Now, as a little bit of background, we have a 176-pound lifter who's been training seriously and hard for 5 years. That's the focus here. 176 pounds, training hard for 5 years, got good form and average genetics. So these two guys, Greg Doucette and Jeff Nippard, are debating where this guy's bench press should be. And I believe Nippard comes in around 220 or whatever. And somebody asked me what I thought on this. And there's something that Greg Doucette missed here. There's a point that somebody said, where do you think this, somebody said, where do you think this, somebody benching for 5 years, where should their bench press be? And I said 275 to 315 if you're benching hard with good form. But herein lies the fly in the ointment, something that Greg Doucette missed. And I think that needs to be talked about. This guy is 176 and he's been training hard for 5 years. If you're my weight, 5'10", and you're going to compete in natural bodybuilding, that's pretty close to stage weight, okay? That's pretty close to stage weight. And this is an important point that Greg Doucette missed. This individual isn't 5'10", okay? This individual been training for 5 years. If they have muscle, this individual's probably closer in the off season, mind you. Like if this were me, 5'10", off season would be 195 to 210. This guy is either underweight, hasn't put on a lot of muscle, hasn't been training as hard as you would think, or this guy is a little bit on the shorter side, 5'5", 5'6", 5'4". So we got 2 possible variables here, and there could be a combination. So regardless of what this guy is framing himself to be, right, regardless of that, this guy is either a little bit light on the muscle side or weight side, and maybe kind of exaggerating how hard he's been working, or he's a little bit shorter. So in that case, it's not surprising for me to see his bench at 220 to 275. 275 would, if this guy is muscular and short, 275, 250 to 275 would be a really good goal for him. So I want to chime in a little bit on this because there are a few things missed, I think, by Greg Doucette in his video, and I didn't watch his whole video, so I don't want to misquote him. But if this guy is truly 176, he's either short or he's kind of exaggerating how hard he's been training, and he probably doesn't have as much muscle as we think. All right, let's dive into it, guys. Let's dive into things. Before I do, I am currently in my gym, and it's a mess. See, there's stuff everywhere. Right over there is my office, and I just put in a new floor in my office because it just had plywood. When I moved in, it was just plywood on the floor and a rug. So I put in flooring. This weekend, I got to move all this crap back in there. All right, you know what? Stein is first in. Stein is a wizard. I seriously don't know how Stein gets in first on comments every damn week, but he does. Richard Murray from Scotland is in, and look, Richard Murray, Stein, all these guys are part of Team Massive. Team Massive is a private server, a private group, and I want you guys to join it. Head over to superlivingtoday.com. We got a lot of members, and if you're not in this group, you're missing out. It's basically for a $99 one-time fee. You get a ton of free stuff. We have group challenges. You get form checks for life, or as long as I exist, my life. You get workout help for free. It's like paying $99, getting a ton of free crap, and for life, you get kind of micro-coaching. So head over to superlivingtoday.com. Check out the Team Massive tab and join, please. All right, 3 Days Grace saying hello. How's it going, 3 Days Grace? And Big Spoon Bear, Stein is like a freaking ninja. He is. The second I post up the notification that I'm going live, Stein is in. So I don't know how he does it. Maybe we'll have Stein on here someday to discuss. It'd be kind of fun to have some of you guys on here one day, just to some of my faithfuls. Maybe we'll do that. Mickey Chan, what's going on, Mickey? And Big Spoon Bear, happy Friday. Stein the Wizard, Felix bought Massive Iron this week, and I appreciate that, Felix. BKS Gaming, all the regulars are here. We got a strong Friday kicking off. What's up with Stein being here before me? He's a bigger fan of you than me. Stein is a wizard. Stein has some magical powers. Felix said, saw those killer calves. Yeah, and I'd like to say I worked really hard for them. I'd like to brag and say let me just share this. I posted this on Instagram. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, please do at Ben the Barman. But I posted this on Instagram. Absolutely zero, very little work over the years. That's just genetics. Sorry, small calves, guys. Paul, hello from New Mexico. How's it going, Paul? And Stian from Norway. Ace Bright tuning in from Dallas, the Big D. Ace, are you rooting for, are you a baseball fan? Are you rooting for Houston? Or maybe you're like, hate Houston, you're rooting for Atlanta. BKS Gaming, about how long do you think it will take for me to get from a 140x7 bench to 225 for reps? A year. If I was training you, man, I'd like to see you get there in a year, 18 months tops. At 225 for 5 is a really good goal. And if you get your diet right, and I'm not saying your diet isn't right, but if your diet's right and your training's right, 12 to 18 months would be my goal if I were training you. Comically large Chungus. Instead of worrying about how long, just get to it. I'm not there either. All right. Be nice to BKS Gaming. He's not worrying. He's just asking for a general guideline. Be nice. Play nice. I've noticed that if I take a week off from training, when I get back to it, my muscles get much bigger a lot quicker. Is this normal? Um, First off, Big Spoon Bear, don't take a lot of weeks off training. I'm not saying you do, but just being a paranoid old man. So look, yeah, I mean, you can get a little bit of depletion, feel flat. Some of it can be mental, some of it be physical. But after you train, there's a little bit of inflammation. You know, could be. Harut, hey gang, how's it going, Harut? Happy Friday, big hairy ugly dude. Thank you, sir. And Park McLean, happy Friday. Get to it. Got a new T. GTREHHBK. Yo, how's it going? Mr. Feathers from Austria. Thanks for tuning in from Austria. And Brandon from Ontario. We got everybody. We even got Alex Gasilovsky. Gasilovsky, did I pronounce that good? From Russia. Park, happy Friday. Got a new Titan 100-pound sandbag. I got a client by the name of Cass that does a lot of sandbag work. There's a lot of good stuff you can do with that, so I hope that's serving you well. Is this guy enhanced or not? Is this guy enhanced or not? Good grief. You guys really think I sit around injecting tons of crap? I mean, my arms lean aren't even 17 inches. My quad, I was just talking to Jeffrey Verity Schofield, who I'm going to have on the podcast next week. I think his legs are bigger than mine. And, it's funny in lifting. People don't do that with running. I ran like 7,500 kilometers the last 4 years. And no enhancements taking me to get me to do that. What does it matter? What do you got? Seriously, is this guy enhanced or not? I'm 54, for fuck's sake. I'm not exactly Mr. Olympia. James Halbro, best accessory exercises or techniques to bring up a weakness off the chest on the bench. With general chest strength, I would start with, there are some things I would start with, and this isn't a magical plan, but it is a good place to start if you haven't tried these variations. I would try maybe pin presses on the bench press. I would maybe add paused bench. And I would work on your chest strength with things like, I have my clients do dips and push-ups superset. And I have maybe things like machine chest presses. You want to make sure you're working in dumbbell bench presses. I like how Mr. Feathers refers to me like I'm not here. Is this guy? Like, you could ask me, Mr. Feathers. You can say, are you? Is this guy? All right. How to lose the last few pounds. I tried to lose most of the weight with minimal cardio. Now I added cardio, but I'm still stuck. I would have to look at things, and I'm not being dismissive. But the first thing you need to look at is, are your calories consistent? Are you tracking everything? Okay. Are you truly stagnating, or are you impatient? I'm not saying you're impatient, but that's something we have to consider. We have to look at your weight over time and look at the trend of the graph to see if there's some ups and downs and if it's truly stagnating or not. And there'd just be a lot of variables I would have to look at. So without looking at those variables, I can't really say, to be honest with you. If you guys head over to Instagram, I could maybe help you out a little bit more. Don't rule out joining Team Massive. It's a really good community, and I can give you a little bit more hands-on help for a one-time fee, and it'd be a really good Christmas present for each of you. Brandon, do you train as hard as you did when you're under 50? I'm about to get back to it. We invested a lot of time running the last 3 or 4 years, and I love running. I really love the long runs. I do. It's just enjoyable. But right now I want to get back to training as hard as I did back then. So this weekend I'm moving all my crap out of the gym back over there. I got new flooring in the gym, and I'm going to start getting back at it on Monday. Any supplements that help with recovery? Well, there are some basic deficiencies you want to consider. Some things that are common deficiencies, and I can't specifically say they'll help with recovery, but they sure won't hurt. Vitamin D, vitamin B12, also get out in the sun, also maintain a reasonable degree of cardiovascular health and fitness. Make sure you're getting in at least an hour of cardio a week beyond your steps, something that elevates your heart rate. Good sleep habits are key. Are you going to bed at the same time each night? Are you practicing good sleep hygiene? And when you're in your 50s, Brandon, it's really a good idea to get your hormones checked out. Legit TRT is an option. Because look, in the lifting world, outside of the natty or not nonsense, lower testosterone levels and hormone levels can impact your recovery. And if you have access to this, and if it's something that you can afford, it's definitely something you want to consider. Quality of life. There's no shame in that. John McBean, 60 years old, 6'4", 260, currently benching 460. That's strong work. Good job. And it's a good standard for all of you young guys to understand you can keep going if you're smart. I want to be like John McBean when I'm 60. I've never been a good bencher. Greetings from northern Saskatchewan. How's it going, Ryan? How do you get big calves? They're talking about Scruffy Like a Boss is talking about my calves. It's all genetics. All genetics, 100% genetics. It's funny with calves. It'd be funny if we could actually have the rest of our body parts like our calves. Like me, I have naturally big calves, right? Yeah, I've trained them a little bit over the years, but my size certainly isn't from hard training. I haven't given my calves consistent work since probably 97. But it would be funny if we could be born with other body parts like calves, like just being born with just huge triceps, right? As some guys are, born with bigger legs, but it would be fun if we could just be born with immense biceps, right? That would make everybody's life easier. It'd be kind of comical, right? If some guys were born with just these big, juicy monster bicepticons, and then it'd just piss off the rest of us who were born with smaller biceps. All right. Is there any long-term issue with heavy lifting while having flat feet? I am no expert, Manish, on flat feet, so I do not want to lie and step out of my lane and give you advice on something I don't know about. I will tell you there's long-term issues with not doing strength training. So with any condition or injury, do your research. Be reasonable, take care of your body. But I don't see why not. Big Spoon Bear. Man, your calves look like Eddie Hall's genetics. Yeah, I wish the rest of my body, but if I took the drugs everybody thinks I took, maybe I'd look like Eddie Hall. It's funny. I mentioned talking to Jeffrey Verity Schofield. Lean, 15 to 18%. My arms aren't even 17 inches. I have naturally big triceps, and I have a really good quad shape. So I think a lot of people, because of my genetics, the aesthetics, think I'm a lot bigger than I am. Ryan, I've recently started getting serious about the big boy lifts. How do you incorporate heavy singles into a progressive overload system? Good question. I'd have to look at your overall programming, Ryan. I'm not being dismissive, but I have to look at a lifter's form. I have to look at a lifter's programming. And then we have to kind of figure out where to put them. I do not like in the off season doing heavy singles without doing some volume work. I have a program I use on bench. It really works well for most people that use it. It's not focused straight on heavy singles, but it has a little bit lower rep side of things. But I will say, if you're going to do heavy singles, do them based off on how you feel on a given day. Don't just do a program and stick to the program if you feel like crap on that day. Listen to your body. But if you're just don't go do them randomly. You're better off having somebody help you at that point, or doing your research and finding a reputable program, not just some random crap you find off the lifter from some trainer that, probably has never squatted 315 is going to tell you how to do heavy singles. Don't do that. And Ryan, one thing I would really strongly suggest is consider coaching. Look, guys, I'd love to work with you. I can build you up stuff from the ground up. It's only $80 a month. I'm with you every single day. It's an incredible value. And I'm able to do that because I coach for a living. And, I'm not one. A lot of these coaches, they just coach a limited amount of people. And they have to charge more. So either that, Ryan, or consider joining Team Massive. It's a big value. Marco, thoughts on Kelso shrugs? Faz video got me intrigued. Let me see if I can find a video real quick of Kelso shrugs. There's some things we used to do back in the day. And let me see if I can find this on YouTube. There's some things we used to do back in the day. Where are you? I don't want this blasting. I want to make sure I don't have music on any YouTube videos, because if I do, YouTube will throttle me and sometimes even remove videos. All right, Kelso shrugs. I think we've got a good video here. All right, let me share this. All right. Basically like this. There's different variations, okay? What are my thoughts on it? I'd rather see you doing these than if you're interested in building up your rear delts, I'd rather see you doing something like that than with a barbell or dumbbell or kettlebell than something like a face pull. I think there's more value in it. So it's an exercise that doesn't take up a lot of time. It's not difficult to set up. It's really easy to add into a program. What you could do once you are done with your dumbbell row sets or barbell row sets, strip a little bit of weight and do some Kelso shrugs. Really easy to do. Really easy to do. I don't know what Fast says because I didn't get time to watch that video, but I would look for doing time under tension with those. Daniel Berlin, what's your favorite pre-workout meal? Good question. When I was at my strongest, peaking, around age 50, my last meal of the day would be 2 Iggy cups. And I shared this video in Team Massive. You take a muffin pan and you spray each of the little cups. You put turkey bacon, 1 strip of turkey bacon around the side. You crack an egg in the middle. You put a little Asiago cheese on top, sprinkle that. And you can basically get 2 of these for 250 calories. So pre-workout, I used to do that all the time. That was my last meal was about 3, and then I would work out about 4:30. So it was about 250 calories, mostly proteins and fats. I run better. I don't like a lot of carbs. I just run better on, I feel like I run better with fewer carbs, or my body's just used to it. So if you need a little bit of carbs, add a little bit of carbs. But that was my pre-workout meal. Not pre-workout. You don't want to enter a workout with a super full stomach, because then your body is trying to figure out where to put the blood. You take the blood and try to digest the food, or you use the blood for muscles. Usually your body's going to use the blood for the workout, and then that food will just rot in your stomach and have a tendency to make you feel nasty. Matthew, how's it going, Matthew? Good to hear from you. Ronald Richardson, nice cabs. Been mountain biking. I assume mountain bike and direct work have seen some growth. I always found good value in repetitive movements. I did a lot of step-ups when I was younger, and I'm not sure if that contributed with quad or calf size or strength. Matthew, I've been looking to get back into training after a long break. How would you get back into that? I'm in decent physical condition from working concrete. I have a video, Matthew, about breaking back in. During the pandemic, a lot of people got away from the gym, but basically, this is going to, my advice is going to be something most of you aren't going to want to do. But we don't want to go overboard the first month because we don't want to deal with a lot of soreness, like an exceptionally insane amount of soreness. And we want to allow our connective tissue more than our muscles to get back up to speed. Because sometimes after you've been training for a long time, you're stronger than the average bear, but your connective tissue is a little bit weakened. So you got to be really safe. The first 2 weeks, usually do about 2 sets per exercise just to physically break in. Use a very moderate weight. Week 3, it's time to start ramping it a little bit, maybe back to a more normal program, something that's taking 60 to 70 minutes in the gym, bumping weight up a little bit. And from there, after week 3 or week 4, you can start to push sets and start to build. So let's say week 4, you're up to a full program. You do dumbbell curls. You're 30 pounds. You hit 3 sets of 10. Move up to 35 next week. Don't rush it, okay? Don't rush it. Allow the strength to come back. Give yourself like 4 to 6 months. In 4 to 6 months, you should be back up to full speed on your training, and you're doing it safely without getting injured. The connective tissue is a greater worry for me than anything else. So you really got to take your time. But muscle memory is a beautiful thing. And if you've been away from the gym, you get back into it, you should see pretty much within 4 to 6 months being back up to almost full strength. Rico, I did your 6-week bench press builder and did the same setup for bench and squat, and my size and strength has shot up in squat and deadlift. That's what I want to hear, Rico. And no program is magic, but you worked a good program and you worked it hard, so well done. Thoughts on training with a cold? Not a fan. I prefer that you take deloads or time away from the gym when you have personal things going on, like you're moving or sick or holidays or birthdays or thing like that. I'm not a fan of that at all. I don't find value. I would take that as kind of a deload. Sit at home, drink in your electrolytes, eat, sleep, take care of your body. Stuart, hi from England. Would you train as hard when on a low-calorie diet? When you're on a low-calorie diet, it's probably a good time to take a break from pushing for PRs unless you're relatively – if you haven't built a lot of strength, you can still build strength and muscle on a lower-calorie diet, okay? If you have a reasonable amount of strength, it's probably a good time to not push for PRs, not do things like drop sets or supersets or rest pause. It's probably a good time just to try to hold steady in your training, desensitize your body to pushing for PRs and with all these intensity techniques, and get the weight off and get back at it. One thing you can do as well, there's many options here. One thing you can do as well is you could do low calorie on off days, and you could do maintenance on training days. So that's a possibility as well. Many options. Bryson Bukoski. Hello from aloha from Hawaii. Mahalo. Good to hear from you, Bryson. Big Spoon Bear. I think Mr. Feathers was referring to the guy that benched Greg Doucette's video with regards to being enhanced. Oh, sorry. That could be right. I don't know. In my world, I apologize, Mr. Feathers, if that's the case. I apologize. It's really easy to get wires crossed when you have a lot of questions. So if that was the case, I sincerely apologize. Neo, what's going on? Neo's a client of mine from Minnesota. James Halbro, would you pin press with here we go. Would you pin press with the same grip width as your standard bench? Yes. I have been doing this with a close grip and find it hard to keep tightness. Well, the issue is if you're doing it with close grip and you're a few inches off the chest, it's going to be more tricep focused, which is fine if you're trying to work the triceps more. So if you want to have more of a chest focused, I would do a more normal grip. Big Spoon Bear, apparently the best cardio is a hyperactive toddler. Yes, it's also good for aging you rapidly as well, that lack of sleep life. Tips for building those rear deltacons. First and foremost, 80% of it is getting your rows as strong as humanly possible. And I would use VersaGrip Pros 100%. Also, so you can use max weight and also so you're not getting elbow tendonitis. And rear delts. Beyond that, I would do, you can do things like Kelso shrugs. You can do things like face pulls if you like them. You can do rear delt flies or bent over flies or reverse flies or whatever they call them. You can do the pec deck where you do the reverse action. When you do those things, make sure you move your elbows back. Don't just pull the weight. You want to move your elbows back and actually feel those rear delts working. When I do this action and I move my elbows back, I can feel my rear delts working. So make sure you are doing that. Eric, really appreciate these live streams. Thank you. And I cannot stress enough how much I appreciate everyone's support. Keep the questions coming, guys. We're 30 minutes in. 30 minutes in, and I will stay on as long as you guys have questions. Big Spoon Bear, have you ever used a hyperbaric chamber? No, I'm familiar with it, never used it. Tried a lot of wacky things in my life, but I've never actually even seen one other than on YouTube. Opinions on gator meat. Man, I'll tell you, I'm for all kinds of meat. Not just from some, fake super macho, fake super alpha male type of thing. I'm going to eat alligator, right? None of that silliness. More so because food variation brings about micronutrient density, or micronutrient variation. So I've had gator jerky. I'd eat all the meat, a good variety of meat. Comically large chungus. I walk for cardio. I used to do more intense cardio with martial arts, but I lost my capacity. Walking's fine. Walking's a good thing to do. It's underrated. And outside, in nature, if you can get on a trail with elevation changes and terrain changes, that's brilliant. All the hiking I used to do was great for conditioning and naturally will bring up periods where your heart rate's elevated. It's just good for you. Being in the sun, being around nature is shown to help with stress levels. You get your vitamin D. One of the best things any of us can do is just spend at least an hour outdoors each week. If you don't hike, you need to hike. I don't care if it's flat around your area or whatever. Get your butt outside. James, I've been doing pin press with close grip. Got that already. Sorry. Isaiah, why do my lats feel sore after doing overhead press? Isaiah, it's the best answer is it's a compound movement. You're getting some during a overhead press, you're lowering, right? And that's the opposite. You have a vertical press and a horizontal, or a vertical press and a vertical pull, right? So the lats are going to be part of the stabilization and lowering that weight or controlling that weight down. That's just the way the body works. A sign that you have weak lats, probably. So I wouldn't worry about it. People ask me a lot of times, hey, when I do squats, my hamstrings are sore, my glutes are sore, my hips are sore, or whatever. Yeah, it's a compound movement. And sometimes crazy things can get sore. When I do when I do cable tricep extensions, my abs get sore. It's just, that's why we do the movements. We don't want to turn everything into every movement has to work just one muscle group. That's kind of toxic bodybuilding thinking. BKS Gaming, should I do one of your bench programs, or would I be fine just doing your HIV program and getting strong at everything? There's a time and a season for everything. You can do seasons where you do a program, and then you have a bench specialization program. A lot of my clients right now that have been with me for a while, I'm moving them more to a focus on that bench strength, but they're doing everything else. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. So just keep that in mind. Rory Hansen, when military pressing, do you recommend touching the bar to your upper chest? The only thing I recommend, Rory, is getting the bar at least below the chin area. At that point, it's hard here to get the camera angle, but here's a bar at below chin angle. My elbow, you can see, if you can see over there, my elbow is below my shoulder level. That's a good place to get, right about there. You can see my arms look at about 45 degrees. Down here, you kind of lose leverage and strength and maybe place more stress on your shoulders. I'm not saying you can't take it to chest level. I'm saying right here where the bar is right below your chin. See, my arm is about at 45 degrees. That's probably a good place to aim for. Marshall D. How would lifting be different for short dudes? It's not. Bodybuilders tend to be a little bit on the shorter side. They look better. And they tend to do really well. So there really doesn't. The only thing that really is more of a challenge, I would say, and look, it depends on each individual and their limb lengths and stuff like that. But tall lifters, I think, have a bigger struggle than short lifters. Eric Redbeard, hello from Indiana, tuned in for lunch break. Thank you, Eric. All right, guys, I just want to let you guys know, superlivingtoday.com. Head over there and click the coaching tab. For only $80 a month, you get unlimited interaction, daily interaction. I call, we talk for 30 minutes, set you up a workout program, set you up a nutrition plan of attack. I work with you on all your goals. 3-month minimum commitment. Get you rolling, get you on track. Do it now, because come New Year, things get crazy for me. So please, if you're on the fence, it's a minimum investment of $240 over 3 months. I'd love to work with you. All right, Joseph Davis, 22-year-old, 232 pounds, been training for 5 years. Doing the juggernaut method to get back to advanced elite numbers. I'm currently at 415 benches and unrealistic to get. No. But what you have, and this can, look, you can be a genetic freak or you can be a grinder. I'm a grinder. Is it unrealistic? No. Could it take a very long time, like 10 years? Yes. Because getting to 415, getting to a big number, even if you're, genetically elite, and working hard, it can come quick, but after that, it can still take a while to grind. So just know 5, 10, 15 pounds a year might be the norm. 3 Days Grace, does foam rolling have any benefits? I'm sure if you asked a foam rolling expert, they'll tell you it has 7 million benefits and you should foam roll every second of your day. But it can work out some stiffness in the fascia and connective tissue. But I kind of find that when I go into the gym and start loading up plates for my warm-up sets and get moving, it kind of does the same thing. I don't know. During warm-up sets, it kind of does the same thing. I just don't like adding it in for that reason. I just never felt like I needed it. But, it's highly individual. If you're super sore, super stiff, and you want to give it a try, yeah, it can break up that calcification in the connective tissue and fascia. I don't know. Ace Bright, push day, for example, better to do all chest-centric than shoulder, etc., or better to alternate? If you're doing an upper-lower, I would alternate. Like for my clients that do upper-lowers on the A workout, they start with chest, and then they do shoulders. On B workout, they start with shoulders and do chest. Really good balance. Any advice on hip shifts on squats? Yes. And this is probably one of the most awkward when you're teaching the squat. The two main cues, the two main tips are pretty crude, but you got to say them. Number one is show me your dick, or show me your, whatever. Open your legs. And number two, when it comes to hip shift, when you are squatting, don't think about throwing your hips back. Think about driving your butthole straight down to the ground when you're squatting. What that'll do is it'll help you stay upright, and it'll help you prevent your hips from shifting. When you're squatting, if you think about, I'm going to drive my butthole straight down, that'll help prevent shifting like this. William Guevara, been using strength building workout in your book for a consistent year. And I hope you got some good results, William. Benny, how long to get thick forearms? If you're training everything hard and not even doing direct forearm work, you're probably going to have pretty good forearms after 3 years, just naturally, without doing a lot of extra work. Soy sauce banana. Greg just put out a video explaining where my elbow pain came from and trashing Athlete X. You got to see it. Anybody have the cliff notes on that? I'd be curious to see why you have elbow pain and why he's trashing Athlete X. Machines really do help when you have elbow pain from dumbbell side lateral raises. One of the issues with side lateral raises is people try to move them directly to their side. You want that hand about 6 inches in front of your shoulder. Leaning laterals, I find, are a little bit more forgiving. I have a variation called bulldozer laterals that I like personally. They're a little bit more leverage friendly. They allow you to use a little bit more weight. So I would check those out. Why I feel a bit closer grip bench works my chest a bit more. Well, if a close grip bench is working your chest, what that's probably telling you is that you have a really weak natural chest. You're naturally weak in the chest. I don't think you should be doing more close grip work if that's the case. I think you should be widening your grip because that'll help target the chest a little bit more. Jay Savage, thanks for your informative content. No spin. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Doing this for a living is an absolute pleasure. And the greatest pleasure I get is working with people one-on-one coaching. And it's just being able to do this for a living is just, living the dream. So I appreciate your guys' support. Sam Gray, why are my arms lagging in size? I've been power building for a month or so. I usually simply power lift and my chest, quads, and shoulders have grown, but my arms barely grew at all. I would have to know more information, Sam. Your height, your weight, your age, your arm size, where they started, where they're at now, your strength levels, that sort of thing. That's kind of something that you could send me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. Sean Johnson, is 12 years old too early to start introducing my son to weight training? I introduced my daughter, like when I was lifting in my basement, my daughters would come down and they'd lift the little dumbbells and they'd lift the plates and, they kind of play, which is a good place to start. For your son, Your son is involved in sports, and what we would probably want to do for a year is get him on a basic body weight and dumbbell program. We're not going to be pushing aggressively for progressive overload. We have to kind of spend 3 to 4 months building up that neuromuscular adaptation. I would have him for a year just do body weights and dumbbells. Body weights and dumbbells. That's going to be good for hypertrophy. If he jumps straight into barbell work, it's going to take a while to get the form down. He's probably not going to get a lot out of it from a sports performance standpoint. Once your son has a base of body weight strength and dumbbell strength, then in addition, we're not going to replace this work. We're going to start to add barbell work. Okay, we're going to start to add maybe we're going to work on squats lightweight. We're going to work on deadlifts lightweight. We're going to work on overhead presses lightweight, and we're going to work on bench press. So that's the extra work. Okay, but we're still working on our body weight stuff and our dumbbell stuff. Once he becomes proficient with form on the barbell stuff, then we can start to use it not as a replacement for the dumbbells, but in addition to the dumbbells, with the dumbbells. Because what we want to do is bring up his size and strength in a well-rounded program with dumbbells, barbells, body weight stuff. And if he has access to machines, you can do that as well, like if he's going to a commercial gym. Make sure his eating is good. I'm not saying he has to eat all salads or any nonsense like that, but you want to make sure his calorie intake is pretty consistent. He's not under eating. Hello, Beast. Thank you for tuning in. Billy Batson. Is it weird that I get massive bicep pumps when doing overhead cable tricep extensions? Not at all. Some exercises are just built like that, where you get odd pumps and strains and stress and soreness. All right, let me get a drink here, guys. Purple Monster. And I got a backup. It's getting cold here. I've been doing coffee more, but Fridays are for Purple Monsters. Guys, get your questions in. We're 45 minutes in. Post them up now. I appreciate you guys' support. BKS Gaming. If I need to work on slowing the eccentric on my exercises, should I stick with the weight I'm using? Yes. Because I don't want you to slow the eccentric more than think about controlling the eccentric. Like when you're doing a lat pull on, if you're just doing this, right? You're doing some kind of a CrossFit movement. You want to control, you want to do your rep, and then you want to control it up, not slow it up, right? Not fight it, but just control it up and make sure you're getting as much mechanical tension or tension out of that eccentric. Plus, when you don't control the weight is controlling you, and it's going to beat up your body more, if that makes sense. That's a big thing you guys need to consider. Sam Gray, why are my arms lagging in size? I think we just did this one. Sorry. It's a repeat. Mickey Chan, Tom Plants, the gardener. Tom Platts once said if you can squat, there's no reason to do leg press. Do you agree? No, not at all. Not at all. What we know, and you're like, Tom Platts had big quads. Yeah, I know. But what I also know is modern hypertrophy science and the body of work from every other lifter on the planet. What we know from a hypertrophy standpoint is a good amount of exercise variety is better for hypertrophy. We're coming to the understanding that regional hypertrophy is a real thing. Like doing an exercise might target one area of a muscle more than others. So what is best for you is not just to do one exercise. This is one reason why I'm against minimal type of programs. I want you to do leg presses. I want you to do squats. I want you to do hack squats. I want you to do leg extensions or sissy squats or lunges or whatever your jam is. Get some of that stuff in on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And that'll be better for hypertrophy for the average individual. Josh Rugg, have you ever helped someone through chronic knee tendonitis? I've had knee tendonitis, but not chronic, not really bad. When I started box squatting, one of the things I learned was that my squat form after 20 plus years was changing. When you box squat, you naturally squat a little bit differently. So one thing I would encourage you to do is make sure you're doing more of a quad focused squat, and I would avoid box squats. But I don't know what exercises you can do that are more forgiving. I would probably avoid box squats completely. Let me know, Josh, if there's any exercises you can do. This might be a good question for Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, head over to Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Harut, what's the best variable to alter if working out at home with limited weight? You can do block sets or rest pause work or bulldozer type of work. Bulldozer work is you could go in and do max reps on first set and then rest for 30 seconds and then do max reps and then rest for 30 seconds and then do max reps. You can do that. You can do block training. Volume and limiting rest in between sets is your best bet. Beyond that, you want to get yourself a sugar mama or sugar daddy. That's a lot of money, at least so you can furnish your home gym. Any benefits to adding Olympic lifts while doing the big three? Not for hypertrophy. There are some. Don't get your undies in a bundle, guys. Don't get all excited. There are some Olympic lift variations that can be used for hypertrophy, but in general, the Olympic lifts are not the best hypertrophy movements. If they were, you would see a lot of people doing them. You can do them for fun, and I'm not saying some of them can't have benefit, but the main benefit is, hey, you like to do them, do them. All right. Do boomers know what they were talking about? I would say, Jay from Deep, that the fact that you're asking this question would logically beg the question, do you know what you're talking about? Is exercise variety better than adding extra sets to major lifts? From a hypertrophy science standpoint, yes. You don't want to, and plus, when you're overworking a movement pattern, you increase the risk of overuse injuries. Now, is this a big deal? Well, it depends. Depends on what you're doing. But in general, from a strength standpoint and a hypertrophy standpoint, it's better to do a little bit of exercise variation. If you're bringing up your bench when you're starting out, you might just be doing bench, and then you're doing some variations like dumbbell bench and stuff like that. But as you get more advanced, that's when if you're really hungry for bench press strength, you might want to do dumbbell bench, barbell bench, pin press, bench with chains, bench with slingshot, low reps. You want to introduce other variables. Variety is almost always a better answer for hypertrophy and for strength as we progress. All right, Billy Batson. If I'm struggling with quad draw, I wouldn't say that's a struggle. That's a gift. Should I start implementing and shifting to be posterior changeover? No. Work with what you got. If you have a strong point, work the heck out of that strong point, right? Because a rising tide raises all ships. What do I mean by this? If your quads are strong, and you can use that to your advantage to get your squats way up there, it's only going to help bring up your hamstrings and glutes and hips. And from there, you need to do other work for those areas as well. So that's a gift. When you have something that's a strength, you make that as strong as you can. And hopefully it'll help bring up some other areas. Like if your shoulders are really strong and you're more shoulder dominant on bench, work the heck out of that, because that's going to challenge your chest and your triceps more and more. Johnny Miles, sorry. Chest pec machine. Should my hands be perfectly even with my shoulders? It really depends. Some of this has to do with the machine. A lot of it has to do with the machine. Like each machine is different. And then you have limb links and leverages and things like that. So really what you want to do is just make sure it feels comfortable for you. I'm going to skip ahead just for a second. Paul X says, I can't even send you questions in Super Chat. Sorry, Paul. I'm not sure why YouTube does that. It does that for me on some channels just randomly. It's not like I'm blocked on YouTube, but on some channels, I can't send questions. Is it better to go fully extended dead hang on pull-ups or cut them short? You do not want to cut them short. That's called air braking. Listen to my podcast that I did on body weight work with Mechanimal. You want to go all the way down. You want to control your pull-ups. You don't want those jerking things and stopping halfway down, because you're placing a lot of stress on your joints and your biceps. Sean, thanks for the thoughtful response. My pleasure. Mickey Chan, how many exercise variations you consider enough? Well, here's something to think about. Generally, if you're doing about 10 to 12 sets for hypertrophy for a major muscle group, and I like 12, so we'll use my world. You got 4 exercises at 3 sets. That's a good starting point. It's not a rule. It's a good starting point. 4 exercises. You can either do the 4, or you can rotate in every other week a variation and move it out to 5, 6, 7, or 8 if you want. What I did for a long time, mostly in the late 90s, I would start with bench press, and then my next lift would be incline dumbbell bench. The next week, I would start with incline bench and then follow up with flat bench dumbbell bench. So I would work in variations, and I would have probably at least 6 variations, and I'd be working them all hard. I benched only every other week. Scandalous, I know, right? And you don't have to do that. You could do a different bench variation every other week, like say 1 week chains, the other week pin press. You can do things like that. So 4 at minimum, and then, maybe upwards of 5, 6, 7, or 8, depending on how you like the program. Big Mike McClellan. When in your bench press, do you start with a slingshot? I would say, Mike, that once you get to like 150 by 5 and you've built up a base of strength, you could try working that in every other workout. Bill Monty. Hello from DC. On the Doucette Nippard, I think it also depends on your off-season condition. Fat-free index, which is imperfect, 176, 12% is considered very muscular. 176 at 12%, like I was mentioning, Bill, like stage weight for somebody in a natural bodybuilding competition, that's a pretty good low body fat percentage, would probably be like 168 to 175 at like 5'10". So a lot of it, depends on height and body fat percentage, etc. So like at 5'8", each inch you have in height or don't have in height adds or subtracts 5 pounds. So your example is 5'8", 176. I'm 5'10". That would be about 186 for me. That would be pretty lean. I would be pretty lean. I would be close. That's within shouting distance of bodybuilding stage conditioning. That's real close. So if I was at 5'10" and 186, I would probably be competing in the high 170s in bodybuilding. So I'd be within like 10 pounds of stage weight. See, that's pretty tight, when it comes to we're talking about how much you can bench. Noel Williamson, sorry. If I'm floor pressing as a bench accessory, is there a point to programming in the slingshot? Yeah, absolutely. The slingshot can add in overload. So you can either do a first set on floor press where you're using the slingshot and then do back off sets without. Or you could use it on your last set and just do like an AMRAP. So let's say you're floor pressing 220 and you do 2 sets of 5. You could throw on the slingshot on the last set and do like an AMRAP. So there's benefit. It's either going to add volume with existing weight or allow you to add more weight. So there's always benefit to use it. You don't have to use it on every set. Or every workout. You could alternate every other workout. Sebastian, my barbell is broken. That's a sad day. That's the saddest news I've heard on Massive Live in a long time. Every deadlift rep lets the one side slide out. Time to get a new one. You don't want to get injured. Bill Monte, also, I Doucette had the point that the gym has a self-selection bias. I agree. But with that, but to say 220 is average with 5 years at 176, man, that's too low. Look, if this dude's really training hard, like he says he's training hard. Look, Bill, I know as a coach, and this is probably going to piss off somebody, but it's reality. Nearly everybody, to a degree, exaggerates how hard they're training. They might think they're training hard. If we look at science, okay? Let's just look at science. People underestimate the calories they're eating. When we look at the science of RPE, or rate of perceived exertion, there was a study where it showed that where you thought you were training, like people thought they were training 1 rep shy of failure, they were actually 2, 3, 4 reps shy of failure. So the more experienced you are, the more you really kind of know where you're at. But from a scientific standpoint, we know that people are really bad at rating themselves. They tend to exaggerate a little bit. This guy says he's training hard. Dude, if you're training hard at 5, like if you're really training hard, like I'm training you every day for 5 years, and your bench is only 220, something's broken. Might not be major. You might have issues with your food intake. But look, that's on the low end. And at you being only 176, again, either you're riding really low body fat percentage, which is working against your bench strength, or you don't have as much muscle as you think. Not everybody's going to be 12% like Bill Monte, body fat percentage. I'd wager this guy is higher, which means he has less muscle, which means it's really working against him when it comes to bench strength. Soy sauce, banana. Is it better to go fully extended dead hang on a pull-up? Oh, we answered this already. Sorry, that's a repeat. Bill, with questions not going through, I have to check another browser to see if mine actually sent. I used to have to do that as well. Could someone seeing this ask him to go into details about how his coaching works? Absolutely. Real quick, over on my website, superlivingtoday.com, there's a coaching tab. Choose the strength and muscle 3-month commitment. Once you sign up, we set up a time to talk on the phone. I have clients all over the world. I had a client sign up from Singapore today and from Australia. So I work with you, your time zone. I'm very familiar with time zone differences, so it doesn't matter. I have a private app that we do all communication with. You can send files, photos, or videos in the private app. You can upload progress photos. You can upload workouts. You can upload everything. You can upload body measurements, everything. It's very in-depth. But we do all communication through that, and it's like texting or WhatsApp, just through an app. I'm with you every single day. I set up your workout. I monitor your calories. I monitor your weight. If you want help with running, I set up a running plan. If you want help with cardio, I set up a cardio plan. If you want just help with fat loss, we do that. I'm with you every single day. I'm monitoring your weight. I'm monitoring your workout. I'm monitoring your cardio. I'm monitoring your calorie intake. And I'm providing accountability. So basically, we work together to make adjustments. You can send form videos every single day. My clients can send 2 form videos every day. Unlimited communication, unlimited questions. So once I set up a program, I'm not going to set up something that's cookie cutter. It works with your existing equipment. I try to be very flexible in how many times a week you need to work out, because most of us need a little bit of flexibility. And we evolve programming, and we evolve things based on needs. I don't simply do, here's the program, and if you don't do it, you suck, and thank you for your money. We work together. We coach. We coach through situations and things that come up in life. So there's a 3-month commitment, $80 a month. Most of my clients stay on longer than that. Most of my clients stay on from 6 months to have a client on for 4 years now. You can change programs at any time if you want to try something different. If you want to try new exercises, I encourage that. Head over to superlivingtoday.com. I want every last one of you to sign up for coaching today. Felix, looking forward to starting the rep goal system. Good luck, Felix. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Sorry, big guy, but I've been asking a question for a while, and for some reason it doesn't show up. No problem at all. If it doesn't show up, you guys can post a question right now on Instagram at Ben the Barman, and I'll get a notification, and I can read the question on live. Versace Jr. Does slingshot create a bottom weakness? No. And this is a discussion I've had with a lot of other benchers. What it generally does, Versace, is it actually helps your bench by creating extra overload. So you're actually moving more weight, and like I benched for 10 years with one. And when I took it off in competition, there was no issues at all. No issues at all. What it's doing is creating overload, and it's generally overloading everything else. But with that said, we're still going to be working other lifts. It's not the only lift you're doing. You're going to be doing dumbbell bench. You're going to be doing machine chest press or dips and push-ups or other variations. So it provides extra benefit, if that makes sense. BKS Gaming. Is there much of a difference using a cheap barbell versus spending a little bit more? Super cheap, like you can get a really good barbell. Let me pull this up. I have no affiliation with Titan Fitness, okay? And if you guys are in the United States, I strongly recommend Titan Fitness. I'm going to share the screen, and I'm going to show you guys something. Okay, if we go over to their strength, we go over to their barbells, just Olympic barbell. Okay. They have a regular Olympic barbell and an economy barbell. These are good barbells. You can see you're getting them from 110 to 140. Notice something here. They got the center knurling. The center knurling, for those of you guys that don't know, is good for the squat. That's kind of a squat bar knurling. That provides extra grip on your back. So this is a good average barbell for $120. You get something cheaper than this, it's not going to handle much weight. Now this barbell, where's the product specifications and overviews? How much weight does it handle? Up capacity up to 700 pounds. That's all you'll need at home. So I wouldn't get anything cheaper. I'd head over to a place like Titan Fitness and get a barbell like this. It's worth the money. Replacement for machine chest press for HBI body part split for home gym users. So if you're at a home gym, you can do bench press. You can do 1.5 rep bench press. You can do a rep and a half rep. You can do pin press. You can do floor press. You can do dumbbell bench. You can do alternating dumbbell bench. You can do incline bench. All right, we just got a question on Instagram. Way to go, guys. You can do flies. You can do, what else can you do? Dips and push-up supersets. A lot of good stuff. I have a lot of my clients do dips and push-up supersets. So Yush, who was unable to post on Instagram, just sent a question through, or unable to post on YouTube, sent a question on Instagram. What is your take on training opposing muscle groups such as chest and back together, just like bis and tris? I have a program, I believe it's a push-pull legs or a PPL variation, where you do opposing movement patterns, where you do horizontal press and horizontal pull in the same workout, and you do vertical press and vertical pull in a different workout, and then you do legs. So I'm all for it. It's not going to be magic, but it is definitely a viable way to train if it's structured properly. I don't think my questions are being seen. If not, guys, head over to Instagram right now at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM, and I'll read them live like I just did with this gentleman's question. Kenzo bodybuilding. I struggle with long arms. They have grown, but not get thicker. When they're hanging out of the sleeves on the shirt, they don't look like they are big. Here's the thing, like, arms are really funny, mostly biceps. When my arm is at my side, I have this long bicep, okay? And it looks really impressive at my side. But if I flex, my biceps look awful. So that's one of the crazy things with muscles, is that they can look good from one position and not look good from another. The only thing I can say, Kenzo, is focus on what you can control, and that's progressive overload and building size. And try to get those suckers to 16 and a half inches. That's all you can do. Beyond that, there's nothing else you can really do. Superbike Nation, hey, I'm also let's see what we got. I'm also a space nerd. All space nerds, welcome on this channel. I'm a huge space nerd. If there was a new space movie that came out every night, I'd probably never get any work done. Soy sauce banana, hot girls at the gym, motivation or distraction? Yes. I would say both. You guys let me know what you think. But like, I see a lot of form videos, okay? And you guys know I'm married. I see a lot of form videos, and like, a lot of times I'll see one of my clients squatting, and there's a girl in the background doing some glute exercise. So it's a distraction for me just looking at form videos. You know, it's just the male species. Just continue to focus on your own shit. Purple Monster is my favorite. I love the purple, and red is second. Rico, since you're getting back to attacking the weight, what's your goals? I don't know, Rico. I really, while I don't feel like I need to get back to my old strength goals, you know, I want to be able to pull 500, you know, for 6, 8, 10 easily. I'd like to be able to just knock out 4 or 5 by 5 on squats easily. I was getting pretty close to that after I moved my gym around, before I moved my gym around. Bench, my bench, I just want to be able to do 225 by 20 on the same day I run a 100 miler. Does your neck naturally get bigger from the big 5? Your neck naturally gets bigger from just doing a lot of barbell and dumbbell work over time. That's why I'm not a big fan of spending a lot of time on your neck or forearms. They get big over time. And you know what? Here's the problem. If you can't get the rest of your body big, then you're not going to have big neck or forearms, no matter how much you train your neck and forearms. So that's something you really, really, really need to understand. I got some questions on the Instagram. Mario G254, two-part question: trap bar deadlifts versus barbell deadlifts. Both. The answer is almost always both. If you're not going to be competing in powerlifting, then you don't need to do a barbell deadlift. Trap bar deadlift will be better on your lower back. But if you want the most strength and you want to get some exercise variety, I would do both trap bar and barbell, alternate every other week. The second part of his question is, what upper body training can I do dealing with golfer's elbow? All right. Golfer's elbow is a huge common issue, and it's something I deal with in a lot of clients. You need to get VersaGrip Pros. They're $60. Mine have lasted over 12 years. They will last. All the gripping you do, especially on back work, is contributing to elbow tendonitis. And to get rid of it, you need some assistance with your grip. Golfer's elbow, why do they get it? They're constantly gripping the golf club. Tennis elbow, why do they get it? They're constantly gripping the tennis racket. It's grip driven. So you need grip assistance. If you want to be one of the, I'm not saying this gentleman is, but if you want to be one of these guys like, I want to work my grip and I don't ever want to use VersaGrip Pros, well, good luck. You're going to get really bad golfer's elbow, and you're not going to be able to lift as much on your back work. I got another question from Instagram. Question for the Q&A. What are your thoughts on heels elevated back squat? I'm not against them. Some people need them. Some people really struggle to get to depth, and I have a couple clients that do them. Just make sure you have somebody like me comb through your form. Make sure your form is nailed down before you just make the assumption that you need to jump to them. All right. Billy Batson, if I'm 250 pounds with lean body mass of around 190, is 250 calories a day too low? First off, Billy, I'll say my natural potential at this is for education purposes. My natural potential at 5'10" is about 178 pounds lean body mass. For someone to be around 190, you'd have to be 6 foot tall or more and pretty close to max natural potential. So I don't know your height. I'd like to know your height. Is 2,500 calories too low? Well, it depends on your goals. And what the scale is doing. Are you trying to bulk? Bulking, you want to gain about 1.5 pounds a month. So calories have to match that. Do you want to cut? Are you losing 2 to 3 pounds a week? If not, you have to lower your calories. So if your goal is to hit 200 pounds, then too low, heck no. Most of my clients cutting need less than that, okay? So it's, first off, you need to know it's very difficult to lose muscle during a cut unless you're not training hard enough or training normally. Training normally is a better way to say it. If you're training normally, it's very hard to lose much muscle during a cut. So don't worry about that. Throw that out of the equation. From there, you adjust calories. So you don't want to cut too slow to the point where it's going to turn into this 100-week adventure. What I recommend, and Faz and I have discussed this, is more of a step method. Go at like 2,300 or whatever is causing you to lose 2 to 3 pounds a week. Go at that hard for as many days straight as you can. And then when you feel a little bit torched, maybe eat at maintenance until you're ready to dig in again and attack. Why would you need a bigger neck? Well, a small neck, no one wants to be a pencil neck. Once your neck gets to about 17 inches, you're at risk for elbow tendonitis. Good grief. That's a complete brain fart. Sleep apnea. Studies show that people with a 17-inch neck or greater have a high degree of higher instances of sleep apnea. So there you have it. The downside to being big. Beginner going on a bulk 1 kilogram a month for a year. Bench 50 by 8, deadlift 95 by 5, squat 60 by 5. How much strength gain can I expect per month? You can expect a lot of strength gain. Benching 50 kilograms. What do we got here? Kilograms to pounds. Excuse me. I'm a silly American. I have to figure this out. That's 110 for 8 reps. Okay, so 110 for 8 reps. 1 rep max calculator. Figuring this out. 110 for 8 in the 1 rep max calculator is about 135 pound max. I would like to see you get to 225 in a year. Deadlift, I'd like to see at 150 in a year. Squat, I'd like to see at 100 in a year. So you should see consistent progress each and every month. You should see +1s on every 2 to 3 workouts, or at least every workout, maybe every workout. Sorry, I was distracted. Got a question on Instagram from Sebastian Rue. Any idea what would cause me to have a round lower back at the bottom of the deadlift? I'd have to look at your form. Okay, I'd have to look at your form. A rounded lower back usually is a setup issue, and hips too high could be a major contributor. What do we got here? Where was I? Here we go. No. If I'm doing upper lower with lots of pressing on upper day, should I still program in triceps? Yeah, I would do triceps. My upper lower programs for lifters generally on upper lower, if you're doing that twice a week, we will have 1 tricep exercise after all the pressing. I would still do direct tricep work. Any truth to doing 100 push-ups per day to help build your bench? Well, push-ups can help, but that's going to contribute to overuse injuries. What I like to do, Mike, is for my clients, I have a lot of them do dips and push-ups superset. So they do the dips first, and then they're pre-fatigued, and then they do push-ups for as many reps as possible. Push-ups can help with chest strength, which can help with bench strength, but I'm not a fan of that. That's just more abusive style training, and I don't think it's super focused at all. Mickey Chan, good question here. Is there any exercise that you can always go to failure? Excuse me. Yes, not every exercise is created the same. Some exercises are more forgiving. I can go to failure. Excuse me. Hour and a half of talking. I can go to failure on bench every session without punishing. I can go to failure on barbell rows, lat pull downs. On those exercises, you'll notice a speed decrease. So that's kind of failure. Excuse me. So yeah, there are exercises you can go to failure that aren't going to punish the body. On an exercise, when you notice the speed decreasing or slowing, that's time to shut down a set. That's pretty much failure because the next rep is going to be failure. So absolutely. Some exercises like barbell exercises going to failure just feels impossible, like super stress on my bicep tendons. Mileage may vary on that. All right. Distraction. Yep. Women at the gym, distraction. There's a lot of distractions at the gym. Camel, hello, from MAB. Park, thoughts on board benching? Not against it, just not a primary movement. If you got somebody that can help you, then it's a good assistance exercise. All right. I use the Elite FTS Shoulder Saver bar pads. Not familiar with those, Park, but I will check them out. Do you tend to repeat phases in normal life or mostly in podcasts and YouTube? Do you tend to repeat phrases in normal life or mostly in podcasts on a YouTube? Like I'll say things twice. Sometimes I'll say things twice. Sometimes I'll say things twice. Not in real life, but like when you're speaking, your brain is processing all these things. And I tend to do it a lot on YouTube and on live. I repeat phrases. Not in real life. When you're public speaking, and there's these tics that you try to avoid when you're public speaking, like going, and I know I repeat things. It's just one of the perils of having to speak over and over again. Any more evidence on the effectiveness of the bro split? I think we have all the evidence we really need. I mean, we have a whole body of work for the last 40 years and science saying it really doesn't matter. It's highly individual. People are hesitant to do them, and I don't know why. Man, I know most of the lifters I've ever met that have good results are bro splits. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. And you guys, the science is backing it up, but it doesn't matter, guys. It does not matter. Get strong and consistent. The science backs it up. The science really says it doesn't matter. Billy Batson says he's 6 foot tall, and my lean body mass is around 70. Billy, I would just go on what the scale is doing. And don't worry, you're not going to lose muscle mass. All right, guys, I got about 5 questions left. Get them in now, or I will hop off. Hop off. Get your questions in now. Last call, last call. Last call. Mike, when setting up macros for a cut, do you set up your protein based on your current body weight? It's a lot of overthinking, Mike. I mean, what you want to do is probably eat a little bit more protein during a cut because it's a little bit more satisfying. And we probably a better idea when you're trying to hold on to muscle mass. I usually would probably bump protein by 20 grams on a cut. And then from there, I would, for my clients, I like to have them a baseline of 100, at least 150 grams of protein. Why? Is that magic? No, it's just a little bit better for balance. If you're eating 2,500 calories a day, for example, and you have 150 grams of protein, that's only 25% of your micronutrients. So it's pretty reasonable. Any lower than that, and it's kind of an unbalanced type of, eating. So I have my clients try to hit at least 150 grams a day. And from there, how much you go over that, it's really personal preference. How much you like protein foods compared to, carbs. And when you're cutting, I would add 20 grams of protein, probably at least 20 grams of protein per day to that. The carbs and the fats will work themselves out. Focus on food volume when you're cutting, getting in a lot of plant-based options. And that'll help you with food volume. And then just, make sure you're not skimping on your fats. And no need to really slice and dice micronutrient ratios unless you're really OCD and just feel like you have to do it. Billy, seems I have the opposite a lot of people. My triceps and quads are dominant. I'll take your advice and treat them as gifts. Do it. My quads and triceps are dominant. And like I said, a rising tide raises all ships. It'll help get those muscles, just get everything strong. Get everything strong. What's your favorite cardio machine? Probably elliptical. Low impact. I have an elliptical out there in my garage, and it's probably my favorite. Martin, is Smith machine bench cheating? No. It's just not the same as flat bench. It's not equated. It's not equatable. They're not the same type of movements. All right, I got an Instagram question. Again, last call. I got one more question after this. Where did it go? It just disappeared. What incarnation? I got an Instagram question, and I go to it. And what incarnation? It disappears when I click on it. Let me find it. Hold on. Where did it go? It disappeared. I don't know why. That's weird. Sorry. It's from Cringe Deity. Every time I open it, it disappears on Instagram. I don't know what's going on. Oh, here we go. I'm into training more than 6 months. Currently, I'm doing high rep work on my compounds. My diet is on point. When should I add low rep sets? I need to know. You don't need to worry about periodization and peaking cycles and all that stuff. You don't need to worry about any of that. Just get strong. And high rep work, I assume you're meaning you're doing normal rep work of 6 to 12 reps per set. You don't need to worry about low rep stuff. Just you can get strong for a long period of time. You're good. Mike, having trouble developing the medial head of my tries. Long head and lateral head are doing okay. I have the horseshoe. Any recommendations on exercises to better develop the medial head? Mike, I would like to see your triceps and your size. I'd like to see your workout now, because that would kind of help me with a bigger picture. What's your tricep size? What's your program look like now? If you could send some of that information to me on Instagram at Ben the Barman, I'll take a look. Mickey, thanks for doing the live chat. I'm a self-gym learner, and your videos have helped me a lot. I appreciate your guys' support and glad to help. Versace, would you train clients with a concurrent conjugate style training if that was their preference? No. I don't do conjugate stuff. I do my stuff. Concurrent periodization, basically everything I do is concurrent periodization. I'm going to set you up a program that's going to – look, I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to set you up a program that's going to get you to where you want to go. If you want to coach yourself, there's no need to hire me as a coach. Johnny Miles, I've also learned a lot from your videos and Friday Lives. Mike, I bought your book, Massive Iron. It is excellent. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your support. And Versace, I'm not trying to be dismissive, but that's the bottom line. Like, you know, you want me as a coach, or you want to coach yourself? You know, if you don't need conjugate, I don't do conjugate. I'm not a conjugate coach. You know, that's not what I do. I get people strong and I get people big using my methods. And we use variety. And is it the same as Louis Simmons' method? No. Is Louis Simmons the devil? No. But either you want to be trained by a conjugate coach or you want to be trained by me. And I completely understand if you want to be trained by a conjugate coach. A lot of the stuff I do is concurrent. But one thing I can't do is coach a client that does my program and then wants to change it into their program, because they don't trust my style. And therefore, if they don't trust my style, if they're not bought into my style, they're not going to work it hard. And it's okay if they don't like my style. It's completely okay. But if you're on my football team and you don't trust my plan, if you're not sold into my plan, then we're screwed. Mike Hall, best exercises to bulletproof your core for heavy deadlifts and squats. You want to bring up your base on something like shoulder tap planks or regular planks. Those are kind of boring. Shoulder tap planks, ab wheel rollouts, and maybe knee raises. And honestly, in my opinion, if you're reasonably strong at those, you don't need a lot of extra work. But if you want to do extra work and things that are a little bit more advanced, by all means do so. Heavy boy, is there a benefit to doing high very high work. My rear delts and side delts seem to recover very quick. My weekly set is 15 sets. 15 sets for rear delts, Mike or Heavy Boy. Just trying to clarify. Could you explain your methods? In a question, I mean, everything in this video is my methods. Could I explain my? I'm not laughing at you, Versace, but that's a book. That's more than a book. Everything I do on here is my methods. So I can't explain my methods because my methods depend on the individual. Do you believe cut till 10% and bulk till 15? No, I don't believe that. 10%. What I do is I believe get your body weight to something that's reasonable, that doesn't cause you mental anxiety and stress. And then from there, we try to bulk. And 15%, I don't believe in arbitrary numbers. Richard, when it comes to Westerns, Clint Eastwood or John Wayne? I love Westerns. Westerns are right behind right behind space movies for me. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of John Wayne Westerns. I'm more of a Clint Eastwood guy. 15 sets of face pulls, that's way too much. That's you only get a limited amount of time in the gym each week. That's way too much. That provides no benefit. If you want to get your rear delt strong, you got to do progressive overload. That's way too much. 170 pounds, 16% body fat. Any ideas on realistic muscle gain in a year? 10 would be really good. I mean, 10 is a reasonable goal if you train hard. If you gain about 1.5 pounds a month, you're looking at gaining about 18 pounds of weight. Then you'll just have a short 1 month cut. Boom, you're looking good. The pad fits the barbell. It's meant to shorten range of motion. Thanks, man. I'll check it out. Can we look like you while being vegetarian? As long as you get your calories and protein in, what you eat really doesn't matter much at all. All right, guys, that's it. I'm out of here. Losing my voice. I appreciate everybody's support. Please head over to superlivingtoday.com. Sign up for coaching. Sign up for Team Massive. Buy you some T-shirts. Buy you some workouts. I have tons of workouts, tons of books, hardcover books, workout logs, everything. Head over there today, and I'd love to work with you. If you don't want coaching, Team Massive is available. And just appreciate you guys' support. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. Just a reminder, I'm here every Friday at 11 Eastern, and I am